without getting too deep and far into the weeds, how has the mortgage side of things changed over the last 3 months with all this going on?
Well, the biggest changes, anytime you have uncertainty in the markets, and what this pandemic has done is created massive uncertainty. The first instinct for lenders, the first instinct for the banks is to pull back. Mm-hmm. They get frightened because nobody really knows what the other side looks like. So the first thing we saw immediately was credit tightening. We saw lenders, we saw banks saying, we're not willing to do mortgages below 700. We're not willing to go below 680. So credit availability for mortgages really took a big hit during this pandemic. And honestly, it's still going on today. So we haven't completely come out of this, right? Because nothing's really changed other than the good news is things are opening up. We've got certain states and certain economies in certain states opening back up. But nothing's changed as far as, COVID-19. We still have this out there. We still don't know what the ultimate outcome is going to be. I mean, last time we talked, we were wondering, is COVID-19 going to be a global pandemic? Well, I think we got our answer. We've had in the last 3 months a complete devastation of our economy. We're seeing things that I've never seen in my whole career. As of today, 38 and a half or more million Americans are out of work. We haven't seen numbers like that since the Great Depression. So it's still going on. I think it was, I don't know what it was this week, but I think it was around 4 million filed for jobless claims. So we've seen the financial markets do things. I mean, I believe it was the end of April, we saw complete collapse in the oil market. Mm-hmm. We saw for the first time ever in my lifetime, crude, West Texas Intermediate crude, went negative to the tune of about $37+ a barrel.
And people ask me, how does that even happen? We're in such a unique situation.
Yeah, well, think about it. Everything's shut down. Cruise ships aren't cruising. Airplanes aren't flying. People aren't driving to work. Mm-hmm. The demand for crude was at an all-time low. And now you got all these producers producing oil because they have to, especially the smaller drillers in West Texas. I mean, if they're not drilling and producing oil, they can't pay their payroll. So they're still producing, and guess what? The demand's not there. And what we saw in the end of April, you got all this oil, but you got no place to put it.
And that's what they were going to pay people we just want to pay you.
Just take it.
You don't buy it. We'll pay you so you can go and store it somewhere.
That's right. They couldn't take delivery because if you take delivery of all this oil, just crude, you got to be able to store it. And there was no place to store it. So first time I've ever seen it in my lifetime.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I mean, even when we came down to $20, that was that was probably a 60% drop from what we were seeing at normal levels. And then for that to happen on that April contract, to do that was very rare and unique. But I think that's just a testimony of what's going on. I mean, when we were sitting here before all this started, we were like, oh, this is probably just something over in China. Is this really going to affect us here? Yep. But you can see how things interact globally. I mean, if something's happening in one part of the world, more than likely at some point, sooner or later, that's going to affect us here and affect everybody.
Yep. So it's hopefully we never see it again in our lifetime. But it's been, it's completely destroyed it.